Hello everyone, Nadeem here with PC.Solutions.Net, and I've got Mac. It's Friday, so hey Mac, how you doing?
How's it going, boss?
Oh, pretty good. Staying busy. Looks like we're gonna have a thunderstorm over here. Hopefully, we can get everything done before it starts. So, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about, I think, one of your favorite products, Sonicwall. Um, so, Sonicwall looks like it has a bug that's been leaving people exposed. And if anyone has done a meeting with Nadeem and you bring up Sonicwall, more than likely Nadeem is going to roll his eyes because he's just Sonicwall is just not the optimal. Or he could do better, basically. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, talk about that a little bit.
So, I'm gonna show the Sonic Wall. I think you're referring to this one, right? This article.
Yeah,
All
yep.
right. So before I actually talk about it, let me say this. Um, Before Sonic Wall, it was Cisco, right? Remember when Cisco chips were found to have code, rogue code from China or someplace,
Yeah.
and they had to recall a bunch of equipment? Security by obfuscation does not work. So you cannot hide your source code and pretend it is secure.
Mm.
And that's why a long time ago we standardized on pfSense. And the reason we did that is because it's open source based code. So what that means is we can go into the source code and see if there is any rogue code or any piece of code that's doing something that is not good. So we can actually view it, and if there is an issue, we can fix it and release it back to the community. The best part is that it allows us to look at the source, and all these closed source companies, the reason they're so closed source is they're saying, oh well, we are very secure. Well, take our word for it. I mean, they don't want to release their source code because if they did, it would be open. They don't want to do
That's
that.
true. Yep.
And and it scares a lot of companies with closed source systems. It scares them to open their source code, only because that means that people are going to see how bad or shoddy their work is.
Mm.
Because there's all kinds of clutter in the code that's left behind from different coders coming and going and all of that. So, and back when this vulnerability was found in Cisco devices, and now it's Sonicwall. Tomorrow is going to be one of the others. They're you know, anything that's closed source has a lot more potential of these kind of vulnerabilities than something that's open source. Only because open is open. Everybody can see what's in there. If there's anything bad in there, people can take it out, right? Oh, I think I lost you. Did I lose internet? I think we lost Mac. Anyway, so we'll keep going until Mac comes back. It's been storming, so I think maybe he lost internet or I lost internet or one or the other. So the thing about Sonic Wall is that there is a new bug discovered, and it is basically allowing bad guys to create an admin level account in the system, which basically allows you pretty much full access to the system itself. Sonic Wall has not fixed it yet, and they let's call Mac back, see if we can get him on there. Yeah, so Sonic Wall has not fixed the issue. If hopefully they'll fix it soon, and then we should be able to get the Sonic Walls patched up and updated. Now, of course, there's another drawback to Sonic Wall getting hit by this bug. The other issue is if your Sonic Wall, or if you're not if you're not in an active contract with if you're not in an active contract with Sonic Wall, then Hey Mac, yeah, I don't know if it was your internet or what happened, but we lost you there for
Yeah,
a
the
little bit.
wonders of internet
So,
technology.
as I was saying, so Mac is back. So, I was going through, how it's even worse for Sonicwall customers because the thing about Sonicwall is if you do not have an active support subscription with Sonicwall, you cannot get updates. Just like Cisco, Cisco, unless you have SmartNet, you cannot get updates. And Cisco SmartNet is not cheap. Sonicwall support contracts are not cheap. That's why a lot of resellers use Sonicwall because they make a lot of money on residual income based on these annual contracts. And we used to be a Sonicwall customer way long time ago, but we weren't very happy with the way they were doing things, and then they got acquired by Dell, and then they left, and I don't know if they're still with Dell or I think there's somebody else who owns them now. But the thing is that you have to have, if you have an appliance that you've paid for, that you own, you won't get updates for it with this fix unless you are active on their support contract. So that's a big problem with the way things are. Now, of course, Sonicwall can go out and say, hey, we've released this fix, and everybody, whether you're in a contract or not in a contract, you can get these updates. They're probably going to make you jump through hoops to get these updates. And then you apply this update if you are on a very old firmware level and you get the latest firmware level, it's probably going to break some things. So there's going to be some fallout because of this. But this is the reason why in appliances that have a very specific task, it makes sense to use something that is open source as opposed to closed source.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is because you have access to the source code, you can look in the source code and see if there's anything bad in there, if there's any vulnerability, if somebody left something in there, that's not good. You can edit it, you can remove it, you can submit it back to the community, and it works out well for everybody. So that's that's what this is gonna. Now, of course, Sonicwall has not said any. I mean, done anything about it yet.
No.
They are working on a fix, and they're working of what's interesting here is this last little sentence here, and I'll highlight it. So the spokesperson defended the decision to subject the fix to a full quality check before it was rolled out, and said it is not aware of any exploitation of the vulnerability. So that doesn't mean jack. Sonicwall may not be aware. Even their customers may not be aware. There may have been already cases where the bad guys have taken control of certain Sonicwalls out there that the users don't even know that somebody else is in control of it. When weird things start happening, when data starts showing up somewhere, then people might start scratching their heads. How did this breach occur? Where did this happen? What happened? So it might be 3, 4, 6 months down the line until we see any reports that this bug was actually used by somebody to gain access to systems. So that's why we are using pfSense, and I don't want to say good or bad things about anything, but closed source in general, it's you hide your source code so you can monetize it. You don't hide your source code because it's so clean and so good that you don't care if anybody else sees it because it's so clean, it's so secure. And that's the thing. Now, as far as pfSense and pfSense appliances, we've been using them for years. We know them in and out. pfSense does not put that fancy shell around the system. Actually, the source is very similar to what Sonicwall uses. What Sonicwall does is they put a nice fancy shell on top of it to try to make things easier, which actually ends up making things harder for people who understand technology, like companies like us. But somebody who's not very familiar with how routing works and firewalling works and packet filters work, it's easier for them to use this shell interface and get things done. But of course, this fancy shell is also going to use more resources. So now you'll need more power, more resources to run the same level of performance on your routing slash firewall appliance. So that's and this is not just specific to Sonicwall. I remember the day when there was a saying that in the network administrator circle, and the saying was that nobody ever got fired for recommending Cisco. I remember that. So those days are gone because
Yeah.
Cisco, that was a big deal when we found the Cisco vulnerabilities, and this was actually hidden code in Cisco chips. And so Cisco did a recall on these appliances. Now, keep in mind, Cisco, a lot of telecom companies were using Cisco equipment, so it was a
Yeah.
huge issue. It was big. I mean, because all these places they have to kind of cut back, and it was just a hassle. So yeah, Mac, can you say something? I don't know if we have your audio or not.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Good, clear. Okay.
Good.
So that's I'm always opposed to Sonicwall. Not because of
Yeah.
this reason, but I'm opposed to Sonicwall because Sonicwall mangles packets, especially if you are using your network for any kind of voice-based packets, voice activity. Sonicwall is a big no-no. Sonicwall support will say up and down, oh yeah, it works all day long, no problem. And then if you get their support involved in trying to configure packet filtering properly, something that takes a few minutes will take them hours because it almost seems like even they don't know what they're doing. So, and I don't think it's that they don't know what they're doing. I think that's just the appliance, the OS over time has gotten so bloated that it's hard for anybody to manage and understand it because they try to make it
Yeah.
easy, but in the process they actually ended up making it harder for people who understand routing.
Yeah.
So if you have Sonicwall, if you're having voice quality issues on your IP based phone system or voice systems, check your Sonicwall. Get rid of that. I remember a long time ago we had a customer. They did it was a call center, right? And they had a call center going, and it was one of them collections agencies or something. And so they had a Sonicwall, and we told them when we implemented their phone system. Well, they had a phone system already, and they were having problems. It was an asterisk based system, so they were referred to us by Digium, and then we implemented another system over there, a Switchvox system, and then it worked fine for a while. But when we went in there and we did our assessment, we told them, hey, this Sonicwall is going to cause a problem. So they said, yeah, we understand, but they had, I forget the name of the lady who was over there. She was their network admin, and they were like, oh, no, our lady knows what she's doing, so she'll handle the Sonicwall part. You just worry about the phone system part. It never fails. Of course, we had to handle the Sonicwall part too. But anyway, so eventually they got a new IT guy over there, and then, they got a new IT person, and the new IT person then called us one day, and because they were having some issues with calls having one-way audio issues. Now, in an IP-based voice system, if you have one-way audio issue, almost always it's a firewall-related issue.
Hmm.
What's happening is the firewall is blocking one stream, one side of the traffic. So if traffic is going out but not coming in, they can hear you, you cannot hear them. Simple as that. So this guy called us, and he's like, oh yeah, we're having all kinds of problems. It's one-way traffic, and there's a problem with the phone system. There's a bug in the phone system. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. The US Army has the biggest deployment of this system, and if you think there's a bug in the system, you don't think they would have found it.
Right.
so so then I asked him, I was like, well, you used to have a Sonicwall firewall in place. Do you still have that in place? It's like, oh yeah, I just renewed the contract and I just upgraded it because they, they Sonicwall said that our old appliance was getting too old and it wasn't able to handle our traffic, so I upgraded it and I just renewed it for 3 years. I'm like,
Right.
okay, and you're coming to us now that you have problems? Call them, call their support. No, well, no, actually, I didn't say that. What I did is I did a packet capture and I showed them. I showed them where the problem was, and then I showed them how to call Sonicwall support, show them that packet capture, and see where the traffic is being held up. So, because I know, had he called Sonicwall and just said, "Hey, the problem's on your end," they would have turned around and blamed, "No, the problem's on your end." It happens
Yeah.
all the time. So we have to kind of prove to them that, hey, no, the problem is here, and this is your part. This is what you take care of. But now in our systems, the reason why we standardize on one thing. Now we work with, there are some customers who still have Sonic walls and they don't have a budget to upgrade. So we understand that. There are certain customers who still have Cisco routers and equipment that they can't upgrade just yet or can't swap it out, and we understand that. So we try to accommodate, we try to work with it. But the reason we focus on PFSense so much is because we know that system inside and out. We have access to the source code. We have built our intrusion prevention system on top of that. We have hooks into that system like you wouldn't believe. So just because we understand that system so well, and the biggest part being that we have access to the source code, is a huge thing. Because even if Netgate and PFSense totally disappeared off the face of the earth, that source code is now out in the open because it's open source. So we can keep developing it internally. Other people can keep developing it. So it's not like if the company disappears off the face of the earth, the system's all of a sudden gone. No, people
Right.
are still actively developing it. And there's a lot of other, people that actively develop plugins and enhancements for the PSN system. And we can make it do anything you can make any other router do, and we can probably do it more efficiently. But that's not the best part. The main reason why we standardized on PFSense was because we can run that system on an appliance, which is a physical box. We can run that system on a virtual machine, like on VMware, on a virtual server. We can run it on that, and we can run it in the cloud. So we have one system that we can manage and deploy anywhere we want, and it works beautifully because as far as their tunnels go, we can have tunnels going to Cisco's, Sonic walls, whatever you have. WatchGuard. There's a few customers on WatchGuard. There's some on Juniper systems. We can do tunnels to anything out there, and since it's one system, so now all of a sudden the user experience is the same whether you're in the cloud, whether you have virtual servers, whether you have a physical appliance. It's the same experience. So it just makes sense for us to standardize on that.
Yeah.
That was that was about that. Now, one thing I want to talk about is, we've been talking about our our practice, and a lot of we've done a few videos around that. So I've been getting some questions, from the field that about that net admin process, and how we do certain things. And
Hmm.
it's interesting that the question comes up, and people still think that oh, you guys do support, and I try to tell them, no, we don't do IT support. We try to get rid of IT
Get rid of
support.
IT support.
So yeah, I mean, when people think IT, people think service tickets and reactive support, and I try to tell them, and I try to impress on them that our job is to get rid of these recurring tickets, these reactive tickets, because the more tickets we have, the more cost. The more cost to us, the more cost to the customer, more
Yeah.
frustration to the customer. So if we can get those tickets to a bare minimum, if we can eliminate them, great, but that's not practical. So if we can get them down to the bare minimum, that's the ticket. Now, keeping that in mind, we've been doing this for a little over 20 years now, and the methods that we've developed, the processes that we've developed, they really are geared towards minimizing those tickets. And more and more customers are getting coming on board with our fixed cost IT outsourcing plan. And people say, well, is this your ultimate plan? It's like, no, but it's the best plan we have for right now.
Yeah.
But it's not the ultimate plan. The ultimate plan, my vision of an ultimate plan is where we give you hosted servers, cloud servers. We give you cloud compute power where your users can log in and work. So we give you everything, including support, ongoing support, remote support, on-site, everything in one package. If we can
Yes.
get to that, that would be the ultimate plan. It includes everything. So you pay, whatever, a fixed cost per user per month, and boom, you have everything. We're not there yet. There's so many different moving parts. I mean, IT is such a complex business. People don't
It
even
is.
realize it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I try to make things simple, but sometimes I still get into the complexities of it. But it's a real complex system with a lot of different processes. Ultimately, I want to get to that point where we can have one seat price. It includes everything: security, protection, hosted services, email support, everything. That will be the ultimate plan. We're not there yet. So
But
Matt,
Nadim is working on it. Trust me when I tell you, he is definitely working on that.
we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. The problem happens with it's not just us. We have to have so many other vendors have buy-in. We have to get them to understand that this is what we want to do, and this makes sense going forward. Some vendors, like the Sonicwalls and the Ciscos of the world, they're so focused on their profitability, their revenue numbers, and I mean, I understand, that some of these are public companies, so they have to look at their shareholder value, but that's money is not the ultimate goal for us over here. And a lot of people who know me out there, you already know that. It's my passion, and I'm passionate about this stuff, and
Yep.
this is a hobby more or less for me, a hobby that pays me. I don't have to work a day in my life because this is just fun for
Yeah.
me. But eventually we will get to the point. Now, Mac, you had mentioned that you've been trading some like virtual currency or something like that.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that. What are you doing? What are you using to trade something like that?
I usually use Coinbase has a trading desk, if you will, where you're able to trade Bitcoin or Ethereum. And then there's also Gemini, the Winklevoss twins, who I think started, if I'm not mistaken, they started Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg. They have an exchange also. So, I've been really I'm a big crypto enthusiast. I think it's the next step, if you will, as far as money and finances are concerned. But yeah, I'm studying, learning how to trade that, what to look for, so on and so forth. So it's fun. I love it. It's
Yeah.
just part of the geek part of me. But I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I have some deep conversations with some of my friends, and they don't understand technology, so to them it's like, oh no, but that's not the gold standard, blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, no, it's better.
It's better. We haven't had a gold standard since what, Nixon? So
Right,
I
right.
mean,
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, on the books it sounds good, but it's really not there.
it's not there. No, exactly.
um,
And it's the beauty and the beauty of the technology part of the technological, excuse me, part of cryptocurrencies. Not only is it secure, I mean, it's fast.
yeah,
I mean, you could, if you were to use Ethereum, if I were to send Ethereum to you, maybe within 3 minutes, without having to go through a clearinghouse and all that other stuff, you would have it.
yeah.
So I'm hoping for mass adoption at some point. It's getting there. It's
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
there.
it's getting there, and now I know. I think Robinhood started doing trades on Bitcoin
Yep.
as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I actually
so
have an account. I haven't done anything with it yet, but yeah, they do have
yeah,
that. Yep.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. I'm not I don't trade. That's just not something that I've delved into. But I did a while back. I did set up a machine just for mining Bitcoin
Ah.
as a test, and I did mine a few. I mean, I have my wallet somewhere in, I think, some armory. I forget, but I've got that information saved. Hopefully in 200 years, somebody will wake up and say, oh, my great 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 granddad had something something, and hopefully it'll be in billions of dollars. Unlikely, but hey.
Well, I mean, I think right now Bitcoin is at 15 per coin. And you got all these guys that are expecting it to explode, but right now, if you have one Bitcoin, even if you have fractionals, it's worth money. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
I don't need a full coin. I can get a fractional of it and still make money on it. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty interesting, and the value that it's trading at is pretty high, isn't it? Wasn't it like $1,500 per Bitcoin or something like that?
it well at one point, and then all of a sudden it went from 1,500 to 20,000 at one
Wow,
point, and I'm over here trying to see what it is now, but I think it's actually at 10,000.
wow,
One Bitcoin is $10,603 right now. Yeah,
wow, wow. Yeah, it's really fluid. I mean, it jumps up and down so
it's
much.
super volatile.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So I think we're gonna call it a day after that. It's already 3 o'clock, so I gotta get ready for my next meeting. But everybody, we'll talk to you. Well, I'll probably talk to you Monday. I know it's a holiday, but I'm working all the time. And
Yeah, who knows? People be in the office. I'll be bothering somebody. Somebody's at some point.
so everybody have a good day and be safe out there.
Have a good one, guys.